What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Nice little Christmas Eve special Wager Alarm live stream. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate. Happy holidays to those of you other than the Christian holiday. I'm Howard Bender. With me here, of course, Craig Mish.
Hello,
Craig,
Howard.
How are you, man?
I am very well. Happy holidays to everybody watching out there. Obviously, the trio of us, while we do celebrate holidays in the new year, I do not believe, I'm not sure how you do it or Matt does it, but we in my family do not directly celebrate Christmas. We celebrate Hanukkah, being of the Jewish religion, but nonetheless, a very happy Christmas Eve to everybody and a very Merry Christmas to everybody watching, or Kwanzaa or Festivus or whatever you celebrate.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, throw a little Festivus in there. Absolutely. I did the feats of strength last night, actually.
You did.
Locally here. I didn't fare very well, not going to lie. Didn't fare very well, but that's okay. Why was that okay? Because I'm only caring about the picks right now.
We are doing very well. Wow.
Come on.
We are on fire in everything. The bowl games, I think we've won 6 in a row. The Super Contest, 13-2 in the last 15. And what's amazing with the bowl picks, too, is that we started off poor. And in addition to that, virtually every favorite has won the bowl games to this point. It's been incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Usually the underdogs cover. But I guess, as it turns out, the picks that I made, not really looking at who the favorite or the underdogs were, was I guess I did kind of mix in a lot of favorites early on in BYU. And, and again, the difference from the live stream to picking now. And listen, sometimes you can switch a pick. I hate switching picks, but sometimes you can switch and be wrong. But remember, we did the live stream last week, and I switched off Hawaii to take Louisiana Tech.
It was a great pivot.
And that one came in because I'm starting to see a trend here, and the teams that Hawaii beat during the regular season are getting creamed in the bowl games. So you have to give yourself the ability to be able to do that. If you're betting online, you can do that. Obviously, you could just take the other side and cover yourself there. It's not something I normally recommend doing, but if you do see trends going on in the bowls, as we've seen, especially in the MAC, with some of these teams winning and losing, and then I look at Hawaii, I'm like, man, I don't feel so good about that anymore. The trend does tell the story a little bit in these bowl games. So far, a lot of favorites have come in. We're taking a break from the bowl games tonight. We have no bowl games tomorrow, and then we have a ton Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the big ones on Saturday, and then Sunday, and then of course we have the New Year's Day games, and then we'll do the national championship, and looking forward to it all. But so far so good. And then Howard, of course, in the Super Contest, it's unthinkable to sustain the kind of record that we've had going on 3 weeks. 2 4-1s and a 5-0, and we could have easily been 5-0 again this week. Easily could have been 5-0.
That was a close one, right? That Eagles game, I couldn't believe they came back and they let Texans score on them to go up the one. And then as soon as they went up the one and the Eagles started driving down the field, I said, all right, so we're done. This is it. Even if the Eagles kick the field goal, nobody at that point plays for the touchdown. You can hope, you can dream. That doesn't really happen. So I knew that we were done on that one. It was that Buffalo touchdown, though, the late game touchdown.
The back door was open.
Listen, if you're knocking on the back door, I'm going to open the door anyway. So
it's so hard to lay points in the NFL. It's just so difficult to do, especially with more than a touchdown, because teams, one team to the next, they're really not that different at any stage of the season. Yeah, I mean, Arizona's been the worst team in football. They've gotten creamed a few times, but then they go to Green Bay and they win. It's just always better to take the points. And a good example of that is the Super Contest line of Dallas being 7.5-point favorites against Tampa Bay. What does Tampa Bay do? At the end of the game, they score a touchdown. Line of Dallas being 7.5-point favorites against Tampa Bay. What is definitely not. They looked awful in that game. But when you're laying 7.5, that's all you got to do in the end, and we got that with Buffalo. And by the way, anybody who bet Philadelphia early on in the week before Wednesday got that line at -1, and then it went to 2.5 on Wednesday, Howard. But the rest of the week, it was 2s and 1.5s. So just kind of bad luck for us catching that extra hook point. But usually the 2s and the 2.5s don't come into play. They do a little bit more often now with teams going for 2, and also with the extra points being missed so often this year. But in general, it's those 3s, the 7s, and the 10s, and the 14s that you want to be aware of. But no complaints. The Colts, all season long, when we've taken them, we've won. When we've gone against them, we've won. So that's kind of been the team that we've really identified. And the same thing with the Steelers. The Steelers, when we've taken them, we've won. When we've gone against them, we've won. And at the end of the year, when we look back at after all the picks, I think those two teams in particular will be the ones I think we had the best read on this year.
I definitely think we've had the best read on them, and we've been involved in every single one. Like every time that we've taken them, I think it was maybe once that the Steelers kind of let us down, but I think it was kind of one of those very random late game kind of things. So yeah, listen, I think that's it was fantastic, and you even said it though on the last live stream about that Dallas game when they were asking us about the sixth pick and who would be the sixth pick, and you said that you were kind of leaning towards Dallas in this one, but you didn't like that hook, and
no, I wouldn't do it.
We've talked about it as well. So, but yeah, listen, 4-1 sets our winning percentage right now at 56.4% success rate.
Right.
I love that. We've moved into, or we're just on the cusp of being in the top 500. Over 3,100 teams or entries into this super contest here. So, listen, I got to tell you, I mean, for the first time that you and I have ever teamed up in doing any of this. And dealing with the analysis, and then also coming into agreement, not just on teams, but different styles of why we're looking at teams in a certain way. And I think that we've both kind of met together pretty well. I got to tell you, I'm even more excited about next year's contest now.
Yeah, we'll do the college one too. I think we'll enter the. I think the Golden Nugget does one too. It's it's a little too far.
Pump the brakes.
Listen,
here for a second
you know what's going on in college now. You've come a long way with this. So look, it's been fun to do for sure. When you're hitting, I mean, think about this. When you're hitting 60% at the end of the NFL season, and I think that you have to, the cash line for the Super Contest is going to be a little bit above that, maybe 62%. I think the winner only was at like 62% last year. But this year we've actually had some people who have been above. The overall picking this year has been better in the Super Contest than it was last year. Remember I said the consensus last year was like 0-5, 0-5, 1-4, 0-5, 0-5. This year the picks have been better statistically. But at the same time, when you're hitting 60% for the season, even if your units are betting $100 or $200 a game, you're doing very well and you're making money. So we'll compile our record at the end of the season. Maybe we'll throw all the tickets up. I know you already have been doing it. You know exactly our process and everything as we preview when we go into next year. But for our purposes, we'll continue to do this for this week, week 17. And then, of course, it'll be very difficult in the playoffs. I am not going to kid you. It is going to be... Like, I mean, there's no edge. The lines come out Sunday night or Monday. They're going to stay the same. It's not going to move. You know,
we got this.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult.
This. We got to stop. So, there's no need to even put that out there, Craig. There's no need to put that out there.
All right.
It's trusting in the process. It's knowing the game. Yeah, listen, of course, like that's the thing, though, is that you and I pay attention to all the intangibles. We look at all the details there. If a player's out, if a player's not in, not out, if the coach is leaving the team, we're on it all. I'm comfortable with that. I'm good. We will get to some NFL. I guess later on we're gonna end up doing the. Some of the lines are out, some of the lines aren't out.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be a lot of things that ultimately get determined. I don't know if tonight's game. Let's talk tonight's game real quick here. I mean, we've got a little bit of time here.
Yeah, Denver is, the money
-3.
The money's on, not even anymore. It's 2. So the money is on Oakland. It's the last game there. Oakland's been a really hard team to handicap this season. They're playing up the idea that this is their last game there and they're going to try real hard, but they really don't have a lot of talent. Denver's coach is probably going to get fired. Are they going to play for him or not? We really don't know. He's been one of the worst tactical coaches in football, Vance Joseph, this season. The kicking is about the same, I think, in a close game like this. 20 interceptions between the two quarterbacks. I don't know, Howard. If I had to take a team, I would take the Raiders because they're at home, and you just kind of feel like the momentum is there. But would it shock me to see Denver win like 21-6? No, this is just not a good game to bet on. I don't think. I mean, it's at least we have something to watch on TV tonight. I was watching Home Alone before. My kids have never seen it, but. Not a game that I have a lot of interest in tonight, but if I had to, it would be taking Oakland.
If I had to, I would take Oakland as well. I like the under. It's funny you said 21-6.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
I was kind of putting this game as sort of like a 17-10 sort of thing, with actually Oakland winning this one outright. So Yeah, there you go. And the under is really, I mean, just neither offense is coming together. Case Keenum working with his wide receivers, that isn't really gelling very
No.
much. They've got Philip Lindsay, who's great, but they'll probably give them a little bit of work also to Royce Freeman. So I'm fine with staying away from that, and we
Yeah.
can jump back to NFL once we resume our usual live stream schedule and we start talking about Friday's games, because that's going to be an interesting one there. All the games are on Sunday. The only game that like know for a fact that everything is a must win is that Sunday night game,
Sure.
Colts Titans, and
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Colts have been
Yeah.
our friends, so we're gonna have to wait and see.
We'll see what the line is. I don't think Tennessee is going to be much of a favorite at all. I mean, the Colts may end up being favorite going into this game on Sunday night because they'll need it too. But yeah, so on Christmas Day, traditionally there are no bowl games. Of course, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 NBA games. I see a handful of college games too. But the 26th, we're going to have 3 bowl games. The 27th, we'll have 3, and the 28th, we'll have 3, and we'll be back on the air for that. And then, of course, the 29th is the big day because Notre Dame will play Clemson and Oklahoma will play Alabama. So we'll save those for Friday night. We may as well.
Let me hit you. I was going to say, let me hit you with a little bit of news that's been coming out for NCAA, and it's a matter of is this going to have any kind of an impact on the bowls, on the spreads, anything like that. Now, obviously, you said quarterback being out. That's one thing that'll shift the line, maybe by a point and a half there. Clemson, kind of a little scandalous thing here going on. 3 players failed drug tests, and one of which is Dexter Lawrence, the defensive lineman. He's the only starter of the 3. Is this something where you kind of have to worry about Clemson right now?
No, I don't know that much. Not really for me, but I did tell you this stuff was going to happen right before the bowl games. It always does. It never fails. Suspensions, something happens. Obviously it's not a good look for Clemson. The good news, Howard, is it's not the day before the game. It's 5 days before. I think strategically they must have put this out. They probably had no choice but to put this out now. I'm not going to say I know a ton about this player, but he's obviously a starter for their team, and he's on the defensive line. They're just such a significant favorite over Notre Dame that I don't know that this would make a huge difference for me. They're minus 13. So, like, the biggest line move has been the quarterback being out for West Virginia, Will Grier, who we did this 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And West Virginia was minus 6.5 in the bowl game to start off with. And now Syracuse is favored in this one, minus 2. So that was the biggest swing of any game that we've seen so far. I wouldn't expect to see a huge one there.
All right, well, let me ask you here. Ohio State, Dwayne Haskins. They did all the workouts and whatever. He got a first-round final grade.
Yeah, he's going to be great
for the draft. Right, he's going to be great. He's already said that he's committing he's playing in the bowl game, but now all of a sudden, now you're given that first-round grade. You know which teams are looking for quarterbacks. You know what kind of money you're going to make depending on where you go in the draft. Does this, in your opinion, does this change Haskins' belief of whether or not he should play in this bowl game? And if that's the case, like, how much is this line going to shift if he decides that he's out?
Yeah, I mean, he said that he's going to play, and I guess you got to kind of take it at face value at this point. But that, respectfully speaking, for Haskins is not good advice. I mean, if I was his advisor or family member, and look, it is Urban Meyer's last game. It is important to him, and I get it, but there's just no way that I would put myself at risk. I think Haskins is going to be the second quarterback taken after Herbert from Oregon. No way that I would put and I think that Haskins is probably going to be better in the NFL than Lamar Jackson is now with Louisville. People think that Haskins is this running around type quarterback like him. He is not. He's a pocket passer. I think he has a chance to be really good in the NFL. And these comps of Jackson I don't know who's doing it, but they just don't make any sense. Like, if anything, I would comp him to like not even like a less elusive Russell Wilson, but maybe just as good as a thrower. Okay. So he'll be a top 10 pick in the NFL for sure. At this point, it's just not something that I would bet. But for the purposes of playing it up for Urban Meyer, you would think that at this point that if he said he's going to play, he's going to play. But boy, you're right, Howard. It's still a week away, so we're going to have to wait and see if he ends up suiting up. But he's going to be a phenomenal player in the NFL.
2 bits of little smaller news here. Boise State wide receiver John Hightower, he's not going to play. Academic reasons they're citing. for him. I don't really think that that's going to have too big of an impact. I mean, he's like a mid-level wide receiver for Boise State. It wasn't even like he's one of their top guys.
Yeah, this is for, and they'll play the first game 1:30 Eastern on the 26th in Dallas. So the body clock isn't huge for them. It's only a little bit earlier. I mean, Boise State doesn't ever play an afternoon game, so it is a little bit weird. If I had to pick a side, it would be Boston College. I know they've struggled down the stretch and they lost 3 games in a row, but this is not like Houston not wanting to go to that game against Army at all. Like, that was evident from day one. They had no interest in being there. But this is not like a Boise State bowl game that they are proud of, that they can't wait to be at. This is kind of like, we lost to Fresno State. We didn't get in a good bowl game, and let's just get the bleep out of here. But that's the way I would lean in this one. It wouldn't be a pick, but I would take Boston College in this game on Wednesday.
All right. Now, guys, you can check out the full hour-long live stream where Craig and I covered all 40 bowl games in 60 minutes. We gave you some picks. We gave you some leans. So we're not going to break down. We've got, between now and the next live stream, we've got 9 bowl games that we can talk about here, depending on whether or not anything news has broken to affect any kind of the line here, or whether or not, because I'll go through them real quick here. I'll tell you whether in the live stream you gave a pick, you gave a lean, and maybe we can dive in a little bit more there. So let's start off Minnesota, Georgia Tech. When we did the live stream, it was Georgia Tech -4. You made this a pick, Georgia Tech -4. The line right now, last I saw, was 5.5 here. Are you still on Georgia Tech?
Yeah, Minnesota's not good. They snuck into a bowl. They were 3-6 in conference play. This is the last game for Paul Johnson as the head coach of Georgia Tech, and I would think that this is an important game for that university, and to send him out with a win. You always fear with a team that doesn't throw. Georgia Tech doesn't throw the ball. They just run the triple option, and that's it. So there's always that fear that if Minnesota was to somehow go up 14-0, then there's trouble. But I would definitely take Georgia Tech in this one. I think it's going to go higher. I mean, by the time Wednesday goes, it's going to be 6.5. But it was great at 4. It's still okay at 5. Once you're getting past a touchdown, it's a little bit dicey. But for now, I think it's still okay.
All right. The bowl game that nobody cares about but loves the crackers, the Cheez-Its Bowl here, Cal TCU. You leaned on the under here. It was 40. It was 40.5 then.
Yeah,
and now 38. It's down even further.
Yeah. TCU, no matter how bad they are, they're always going to play good defense. Cal has kind of built themselves around good defense this season, and that's what got them to 7 wins. TCU had to win their last game of the season to get to 6. I don't like TCU at all, but they do have more experience in this one. I've gone back and forth a little bit. It would probably be a lean in the under and a little bit of a lean to Cal also. But the experience does favor TCU, and the coach has been there before. This is going to be the first bowl game for Cal in a couple of years. So just a lean, I think, to the under 38.5 still, and Cal -1. So
see, I don't see that confident glimmer in your eye, Craig.
I do, but I will tell you this:
staying away.
The best player that's going to play this week is on TCU. His name's Jalen Rieger, and he's got to come back next season because I think he's a true or redshirt freshman or sophomore. I am telling you right now, this is like Antonio Brown in the NFL. He is going to be a superstar in the NFL. Jalen Rieger. In fact, for TCU, I think he had scored every touchdown for the team for almost 3 straight games. Think about that. He's the only player that scored for them for like 12 quarters. And he makes incredible catches. I cannot wait to see. He'll be the best wide receiver in college football next season. He's a kick returner too, but he's not like super small. He's probably like 6 foot. I love this kid, but their quarterback's awful, and it's good. Next year they'll be better, and he'll be really good. That's the kid to watch if you're watching the bowl games at all this week. He'll be the best player playing in the bowl games.
All right. I think those are the 26th, right?
Yep,
Now let's move to the 27th. Duke Temple. It was Duke +3 was your lean last time. Duke 4-0 against the spread last 4 bowl games. You gonna hang with them still?
Yeah, we'll still take, even though the line's going up a little bit, we'll still take Duke. It's just not a strong feeling on this one. I haven't had a good feel for Temple all season, honestly. But Duke does seem to show up in these bowl games for some reason, and they're excellent as an underdog during the regular season and in the bowl games too. So a lean toward Duke in this one.
All right, Pinstripe Bowl, Miami versus Wisconsin. Now, Miami's backup quarterback apparently is announcing on social media that he's been suspended for this one.
Yep.
So I don't think that's not going to that's not going to do anything.
And then their third string quarterback said that he was leaving the school and had to be talked into staying. There's just not good vibes coming out of Miami right now heading into this bowl game. They don't want to be there. Truth be told, Wisconsin probably doesn't want to be there either. It'll be the Pinstripe Bowl in New York, so my assumption is, Howard, this will probably be cold. This is not a place that Miami will be used to playing in. Talent alone, speed alone, Miami wins the game, but they make a lot of mistakes and Wisconsin makes none. So this could be the kind of game that it could be a point or it could be 2 points. And I just don't see a significant advantage to Miami. They just haven't played well all season long. You go back and look now, going on almost 2 years, the only really good team that they've beaten is Notre Dame. And since they broke out that chain, the turnover chain, since then they really haven't beaten anybody. So rematch of last year, Wisconsin won 34-24. I expect them to win again.
All right. Texas Bowl, it's Vanderbilt versus Baylor. It's kind of a home game for Baylor here. Line has not moved at all, though. It's still Vandy -4, and your lean was to take Vandy and lay the points. Still feeling that?
Yeah, Vandy's been covering like crazy toward the end of the year, and this is our first look at the SEC in bowl games, and I tend to think that the SEC is one of the better conferences. This is a very good season for Baylor, finally, after all of their issues and suspensions and the coach being gone, for them to get back in this game. But even though the game is in Texas, I don't see a huge contingent of Baylor fans rolling into Vanderbilt. I just think Vanderbilt is the better team, so I would take them minus the points.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. Music City Bowl on the 28th, Auburn -4. Well, when we did the live stream, it was Auburn -4.5. It's now -3.5.
That's a good
line's
move.
Gone down.
Yeah, listen, again, Auburn in the SEC, but Purdue has been able to really show me a lot over the last couple of years. Jeff Brom, their coach, they snuck into a bowl game, but Auburn just hasn't looked good. They were 1-3 on the road this season. This will be a neutral site game. This is one of those games that, unlike Vanderbilt, who's just kind of happy to be in a bowl, Auburn wants nothing to do with this bowl game. Believe me, they wanted to be playing on January the 1st or the 30th, and instead they're playing on Thursday. So I'm going to take the points here and take Purdue.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it.
Now the next one is the toughest game to call of all of them. This is
which one? The Arizona Bowl?
Yeah, and West Virginia Syracuse. That's the next one, right?
Oh, are we still doing that? I thought we did that already. Didn't we cover that already?
Not today. So
you didn't say Syracuse was favored now? Was that before the live stream?
No, they are. But why still isn't Syracuse a bigger favorite in this game? This is the issue that I have. I don't understand it, because West Virginia, with Will Grier at quarterback, was one of the most dynamic offenses in the country. So you mean to tell me, and I don't know a lot about their backup quarterback, but obviously the kid must be able to play a little bit, because Vegas isn't stupid. They've only made Syracuse a point favorite or a 1.5 favorite. So there must be something to this kid who's going to play instead of Grier. Maybe they've given him now a couple weeks to prepare for this thing. I have to take Syracuse in this game. The starting quarterback for one of the teams that they've had all season long is not playing. How can I possibly side with that team? Look at North Texas. What happened to them in that bowl game? Once Mason Fine, their quarterback, went out, they couldn't do anything. It was over. And they had to put in their third string quarterback. I would have to take Syracuse. I could not take West Virginia. I mean, maybe I'm missing something with this, but I'm going to have to do it. I got to take Syracuse.
Should have taken Syracuse when you had the chance, when you were getting points.
Maybe I did.
Did you? Did you? Well, because you told me you were, actually.
Maybe I did.
As soon as the news broke that West Virginia's quarterback wasn't going to be playing, I know you've been following West Virginia a lot lately.
Nothing happened at the winter meetings, but at least I got my my Army bet in there before I left. That was the best thing that happened at the winter meetings. I bet Army on the way out. I'm like, I cannot leave here without taking Army. It's the only bet I made in college football. The only one.
There you go. Listen, you know what though? You said
I said it from the beginning.
You said from the beginning it was a lock.
That was the only one. That was the only one.
Lock. You feel good about it.
Northwestern is another one that I like, but we could talk more about that Friday because we still have some time before that one. So the third game is Iowa State, Washington State. Washington State, definitely the better team. They've been the better team all season long. but they got really shut down by Washington in the last game of the season. They want to be playing in the Rose Bowl. They don't want to be playing in this game in the Alamo Dome. Iowa State has played very close with a lot of teams this season. They were 6-3 in the conference game in the Alamo Dome. The opening line was Washington State -5 or 6. It's now down to 3. Iowa State also has a great running back in Montgomery. If he can have a good game, then they can stay in this thing, and I'm going to take the dog here. The dogs eventually have to start covering a little bit. The favorites cannot cover every single bowl game. Maybe they can. They can, but I don't think that we have to start covering. So out of the 41 games, you're not going to have 35 favorites. So I'm going to take 2 dogs on that day, and I'm going to take Purdue, and I'm going to take Iowa State.
Ooh, I like it. All right, well, those are the 9 bowl games that are going to happen between the 26th and the 29th. When Craig and I get back here on Friday, we'll do a little wrap session with those teams, those games, see how those went for us. We'll check out the bowl pool standings. Ooh, yeah.
And I'm putting you on the spot because you have to make your picks for Alabama, Oklahoma, and Clemson, Notre Dame, the Final Four. So
I have to.
We'll go head either we'll go head to head or not. But
okay.
we have to do our full opinion because that is really the mecca of this whole entire season. These bowl games are nice window dressing, but those games on Saturday night. I mean, this is what we waited for all season long. And I know the spreads are high for both teams. Alabama's 2 touchdown favorites. Clemson's 2 touchdown favorites. But we got to dive more into those games. In fact, here where I live in South Florida, Alabama and Oklahoma just arrived. In fact, their hotel for one of the teams is like 5 minutes from my house, so it's pretty cool. But either way, I'm very much looking forward to those games. I don't want people who are watching the live stream thinking we're skipping that. We're not. We're going to do it on Friday night.
Why would we skip it? Have we skipped a single game? I just said we were going to break down 9 bowl games, and yet we just did. Come on. This is what we got. This is what we're hanging on to. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. I'm kind of leaning Clemson Bama right now with Clemson doing it all, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
I got
the right to reserve to change my picks.
Yeah, Friday night we'll dive into it, and then January 7th will be the championship. Well, we may have to do something for that game too, some props and game stuff. And so I can't wait for that game.
I can tell. I can definitely tell. Well, there you go. See, I'm not going to be vacationing during that time
Alabama. It's going to be. Oh, isn't the fish tomorrow or something, or next week?
New Year's weekend.
New Year's. That's in New York, right?
It is in New York. Not going.
You're not going?
Not going. I don't want to talk about it, man.
Wow, I thought that was a lock. Army?
Right, there you go. That's going to do it for us today on the Wager Alarm live stream. Again, very happy holidays to everybody. If you celebrate Christmas, have a great night tonight. Be smart, be safe, be generous, be kind to each other. We hope you have a great time during the holidays. Craig and I will be back here on Friday night to do the Wager Alarm live stream, Fantasy Alarm live stream. That's going to start up on Thursday when we get back. I think, Thursday.
Sounds good.
So there you go. Big shout out to our sponsors at BetDSI. What's up, boys? Thanks again for the hat. My wife wants to know where hers is, but that's a different story.
I got a couple.
I got a couple too. I'm not sharing them though. I'm not sharing. I know. I love it. I got one in white too. If it wasn't so fat, if I wasn't being a mall Santa right now, then I might be able to fit into the shirts, the polo shirt they gave me. That's a new one. I am, dude. I'm like a mall Santa right now.
I thought you were on the treadmill the whole time. What happened? You gave up already?
No, I didn't give up on it yet. It just, who worries about weight loss during the holidays, Craig?
I was gonna say resolutions are on the way here. 7 days away.
So for the remaining rest of the year here, I'm going to eat my feelings away.
Fair enough. Right? Fair enough.
There you go. So that's going to do it for us. Big thanks to Matt Sells, our producer. Big thanks to Craig Mish, as always. Craig, happy holidays, and I'll catch you next time.
Sounds good.